You are listening to ChartingWealth.com for Friday, the 31st of March, 2017. We see stocks up for the day, both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. We also see the opposite for our inversely correlated ETFs. That would be the 20-year bond fund, and that would be gold. Let's jump right into the S&P 500. We have a new two-day candle that stopped its formation. It ended on the 30th. That was Thursday. It is a green up box. The four prior two-day candles on the S&P 500 were down. So we had another up day. For the record, the S&P 500 up 0.32% for the day. Now, one up two-day candle does not mean a reverse in trend. We still have a downtrend on the two-day chart. The weekly is, of course, still in an uptrend. That hasn't crossed over. Those of you waiting to see if we're going to have a weekly vertical crossover, we can't call it yet. Too close to call on the weekly chart. We will let you know as soon as we do at the close of business on Friday. If you're not already signed up for our text alert, you need to do that. You put in the numbers 33222. That is the text number you're sending it to, and you send the words Charting Wealth. We've got several hundred people on that list, just one word, Charting Wealth, to the number 33222, and we will be sure to put you on that list, and you will receive notice of the weekly vertical crossover. We've only sent out one of those so far since we've had this going for the last month or so. So don't worry about getting deluged with lots of texts. As you know, we never give away your email address. We never spam. We never, ever would use your cell phone number except to make sure that we texted you the alert you requested. If you are overseas, and I've had folks from Germany, from Australia, New Zealand, and India, all ask what we could do. Look, make sure to listen to the comprehensive review and forecast over the weekend. We will be sure to let you know it there also. You have to be in the United States, I'm afraid, maybe Canada and Mexico. Haven't heard any complaints from those folks yet. But again, text to the number 33222, the words Charting Wealth. So that's where we are as far as the S&P is. We're hopeful that we're going to see a rotation over. Now, I don't mean I want the market to go down, but I do want to find a good down trade if that's the way it's going to go. So we shall be monitoring closely what happens on Friday the 31st. We do not have a trade in the S&P right now. If we look at what's going on the Qs, now, of course, the Qs still in an uptrend on the weekly chart. What do we see going on? We had another up day on the Qs. Now, remember, the Qs is the NASDAQ 100. And you know what? We closed even higher. The NASDAQ 100 keeps pushing up. And is it a record high? It may. Yeah, I think it hit a record high throughout the course of the day. But it still is in a downtrend on the two-day chart. Now, of course, if you were trading strictly on the weekly chart, you would still be in that trade and you would still be making money. I remember our weekly chart goes as long as the weekly chart goes. And the weekly chart hasn't crossed over going down yet. In fact, the PPO, the price percent oscillator, is sliding sideways. Derivative oscillators losing energy, but we don't have any confirmation that says get out. We do see that we have two, as far as the weekly charts go. Looks like we're shaping up for another doji, two dojis in a row. What do dojis mean? As far as Japanese candlesticks, lots of indecision. I do encourage you, if you're new to us and you haven't already listened to the super training that we've done, it really is one of the best ones that we have, most valuable. It is a training on the Heiken Ashi candlesticks. You can find that at chartingwealth.com under trainings. Heiken Ashi. It's Japanese for average pace. It's the kind of candlesticks we use. They're calculated differently from your typical high, low, close, and open that you see on most candles. So let's keep moving through these charts. Let's talk about where things are on the 20-year bond fund. Down 0.81% for the day. Broke through the two-day trend line. That has been busted. We still, though, have an uptrend. We have up movement on the derivative oscillator, and now we've weakened a little bit on the price percent oscillator. Still moving up, though. if we look, let's take a look at the 2-hour chart. See, yeah, it's just continued. It tried to cross over and immediately fled back on the afternoon of the 28th, dropped up a little bit on the 29th, and then dropped again and has now busted the 2-day trend line. So tough going on TLT. It is still in a confirmed up move on the weekly chart and on the 2-day chart. The 2-hour chart, though, is not working too well for us. If we take a look at the 4-hour chart, it's also crossed over going down. Not a good sign. Continue to watch. If you do have some positive crossovers and it looks strong and good after idiot hour, you can look for an entry point because we still have the potential of entries. People keep asking me, what is the market doing right now? The market's trying to figure out what to do. The fact that we've had weekly vertical crossovers on TLT, the 20-year bond fund, and the fact that we've had weekly vertical crossovers on gold looks like that the market has tried to bottom. Remember, gold and bonds tend to be inversely correlated to stocks. Why? They're safe havens when the stock market goes bad. There's some smart money that's really worried about the market going bad because that's why we saw the weekly vertical crossover going up on gold and TLT. So again, everything's in flux. So we're waiting to see what happens. If we have a weekly vertical crossover at the end of the week on the S&P 500, then we may actually see that the market has finally decided it ain't going up anymore. But gold and bonds have tried to tell us that. But again, it needs to be confirmed by the market. So the most important thing you can learn here is continue to watch what's going on these charts. What they tell you in the trade pubs, what they tell you on the news, on your favorite little news show that sells commercials, if you care about the market, they're selling you commercials. I don't know that they're selling you infotainment. I don't know how much they're really selling you about what's really going on. My friends, what's really going on is what you see on the charts or you're listening to about the charts that we are reviewing. And the reason we do the 4 charts we do, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, gold, and bonds, is because they are 4 charts that really matter, that are always doing something, and that are liquid. You can get in, get out easily. They're all optionable, and they all have inverse funds where you can jump in. And they all have alternatives too. You don't just have to, if you're interested in the S&P 500, there are plenty of other funds that track it, ETFs that you can buy. And you can also buy inverse funds in SH. That goes inverse of what's going on in the S&P 500. PSQ, the inverse of the QQQ. And of course for gold, DGZ, that's the inverse. It's been actually going up as gold's been going down and going down when gold's going up. And of course, the 20-year short bond fund that goes up as bonds go down as bonds go up. So again, gives you choices, my friends. Lastly, let's look at what gold has been doing. Let's take a look at the 2-day chart on gold. What do we see happening? Gold, of course, in a confirmed up move on the weekly and the 2-day chart all the way back on the 24th of March. And what are we looking for? Well, it has crossed over going up. Derivative oscillator continues to gain energy. Take a look at the 2-hour chart. What do you see? Still hasn't crossed over and given us a signal yet. If it does, then that may be an opportunity for you to jump into gold. It tried to peak out, and then of course about the time we had the 2-day vertical crossover, gold started dying on us. It didn't quite make it. So guess what? We don't get in. We wait, we let the charts lead us. We don't try to guess what the market is doing. The charts tell us what the market's doing. And if the charts give us a wrong signal, which occasionally they'll do, and it's been very difficult with TLT of late, then if you enter, then you get out and you wait for things to set up beautifully. Remember, we were up 15.14% the first 2 months. We haven't calculated our up points this month. We will do so Actually, at the close of the market on Friday, we'll be producing our monthly profit report for March, letting you know what that is. But again, if you follow the rules, things tend to work for you. That's why we have the rules. Folks, it's so good to be with you always. If you're not already signed up for our newsletter, what are you waiting for? You need to do that. You get with it. Our How to Read a Stock Chart video, the layout that we use at freestockcharts.com, plus our daily and weekly market worksheets, everything you need to get moving, and our How to Read a Stock Chart video, which you've got to listen to. Thanks so much for being with us, my friends. You appreciate what we do. Let us hear from you. CW@chartingwealth.com. Please subscribe to us at YouTube at Charting Wealth and also on iTunes. You guys have made us right at the top of the rankings when it comes to the stock market, stock trading, and stock charting. Thank you so much. Give us a 5-star rating. Say something nice about us at iTunes. God bless. Take care from chartingwealth.com.